All right, this is round, the next round, whatever round it may be. So we're over here on Dr. Sebi's food list, and we just finished with the vegetables in the last video, and this is Francisco, by the way, another educational video, and now we're in the fruits. So what I was trying to say is that the melons is key. You want to eat the melons. But in terms of sugar, we get a lot of sugar in our lives, and it's mostly bad sugar. But there is a sugar that your body needs in order to run, and this sugar is what is in the figs and dates. You know, that black color to it. That's that sugar. So you want to eat dates and figs. So what I learned is that avocados promote brain function. So what you want to do is when you wake up in the morning, you want to feed your children or feed yourself some avocado, and this avocado will kickstart your brain, and it'll give you a good start to your day. And then as your day goes by and you're trying to settle down and it's getting later, you want to feed you and your children some mango. The mango has manganese, and this manganese, it calms your nerves, so you start to relax, and that way you can have a relaxing sleep, so that your body can heal, because that's a lot of times that's when your body's healing at night. See, you digest your food during the day, and then it processes your food in the later afternoon, and then at night, that's when it is distributing all of the nutrients that you had gained throughout the day. So it's all about your circadian rhythm. So all creatures in existence have this. Okay, and so you have to take that into consideration. So these things will help you and make it easier for you. All these have a purpose, and you have to find out what the purpose is. Like how prunes will help you clean out your tract, your intestinal tract and everything. You know, just like chili peppers. You want to eat a lot of chili peppers because you have a lot of parasites in your stomach, in your body. And what happens is, sometimes if you have a lot of parasites, you only get to eat 1 out of your 3 meals during the whole day, because the 2 other meals was digested by the parasites, and all you got is their fecal matter in you. So if you eat a lot of chili peppers, they can't survive in your system if you eat a bunch of chili peppers. So that's why you want to eat certain foods, different things. Alright, so I'm going to leave this link so you guys can look at it. I mean, if you jump into it and just research it separately through credible people, you'll understand what the different things do for you, and it's not very hard to find out. You see how it says don't cook with olive and coconut oil? Yeah, I'm sure many of us cook with olive and coconut oil. You want hemp seed, avocado, sesame, and grapeseed as well. The coconut and olive you want for not for raw food, non-cooked, or for seasoning. And this is the spices you want. See how these spices will help you. Achote, basil, bay leaf. So what I did when I found out this information, I just took this list to the store, and I got every single one of these ingredients, and I got them for my home, and I use them in my cooking. That way we can. And I also found a good place online for seaweed, and I have the name over here. I'll give you guys the name and the link maybe. And coast vegetables, something coast vegetables. See, sugars, agave, dates, sugar from dried dates. You see, this is what I was trying to tell you. This is what he teaches. Maple syrup. So when you feeding your kids whatever pancakes you're making from whatever type of base material, you can use this maple syrup, agave syrup. Grains, you want amaranth. They used to say wild rice. Oh, right there, wild rice. So not black rice, but wild rice. So that's what I get too. I get wild rice. I get quinoa. I like quinoa. Quinoa is good. I still gotta try some of this teff and stuff. Kamut is good, but it's some of them you gotta get used to as kind of an acquired taste. So I might like it, but my family would be like, ugh. But it's hard because in Hawaii they feed you the rice, which has cyanide in it, because of the growing practices. See, a lot of the problems is the growing practices. So there's heavy cyanide in it. So you got all of this herbal teas, avoca, anise. So I use anise in my cooking too. Chamomile, cloves, fennel, ginger, all of this. Lemongrass, red raspberry, sea moss tea. And this is the ingredients that was in that Dr. Sebi BioFerro that I got. And this is in the vitamin pills that I got. So these are key for cleansing you, helping you fight all these things that you build up throughout the years. So you got some food alerts. See, garlic. Garlic is the oxide of ally. It's dangerous and don't allow wounds to heal. It is 3.3 on the pH level chart. It burns cells and destroys cells and weakens the membrane. See? You see, they got going around that it's not good for you to eat, but when you're sick, you can't eat it. But see, he's saying that even when you're sick or when you have a wound, you especially don't want to take it because your wounds won't heal. And see, before they used to say celery is good, but see, what I've been trying to tell you is that the growing practices have made foods that are traditionally good invaluable to us. So celery has the highest concentration of inorganic salt. Doesn't recommend it under any circumstances. Broccoli has no nutritional value, and also the way they grow it, the broccoli has a high in nitrogen, which is harmful to you. The carrot should not be eaten. Is man-made from combining the Queen Anne's lace and wild yam. It is a starch. Rice contains cyanide and high levels of starch. See, all these things just create mucus, and mucus is your worst enemy. So it'll go down. I'll leave the link to this stuff. So let's get in it.
Tell us about those two minerals, or whatever they are.
Melanin is not a mineral.
Okay.
Melanin is a word that was used to describe a certain biological function. But that particular identification or category or thing, melanin, is a European identification of what they think activates those neurons in our body that makes us black. But when you break down our body, our biological structure, into what we would have to put it in, which is chemistry, biochemistry, melanin has no place. It's not to be found. What is found in the body that is attributed to melanin is carbon. Carbon not only determines the quality of life in black folks, carbon determines the quality of life in every living plant that exists that is natural. If carbon is absent, there's no life. Melanin, what is it? I don't know.
Why are white people trying to get some? It's a Greek word, melanos.
Well, white folks talk about protein. What is protein? They say one of the 19 amino acids, the building blocks of life. But I know for a fact that that is not a true statement. Because protein, if it was the building block of life, what happened to the gorilla that lives 180 years without eating anything that contains protein? Unless they're going to say that the plants contain protein too. They're always saying things, and because we have no laboratories
Thank you,
to investigate those things, then we have to swallow it hook, line, and sinker. Miss Frances Wellesley mentioned melanin, and I asked her, what is this thing? And I know she could not adequately answer the question because she was trained by someone European. So when you are trained by a European and told these things, you have to regurgitate these things. But no, they are coming.
The cargo box in the GMC Canyon was designed with easy access and convenience in mind. An available easy lift and lower tailgate ensures smooth operation when opening or closing, and a segment-first corner step provides efficient access to the truck bed and your cargo. The GMC Canyon, designed to meet your needs. That's professional grade.
Completely in error.
Okay, we're going to take a little break for the phone.
We have to be careful. Remember, it is like a brother recommended that you use comfrey for your bones. That is in the books. And from a European philosopher, from a European philosophical base. But when you look at the comfrey bit, you find that comfrey contains starch. It's acid. Again, another European philosophy. Melanin falls under the same category. It is a belief, not a reality. I was told in Washington, D.C. that I was violating one of the most sacred code or law of nutrition when I deprive a killer strout of protein. So I asked Dr. Steinberg and Dr. Gluck at the Georgetown Pediatric Hospital, did you give her protein 5 times a day? You did. Was she under your care for 2 years? Yes. Now, she did not receive any of those things that you call protein, and she no longer has sickle cell anemia. So where is the validity of this thing we call protein? Is it equity or is it deficit? We don't know. This is why Dr. Sebi, when he embarked on this journey of healing, many was asking me, well, why are you so concerned with the scientific aspect of this thing? I say it is necessary not to heal. To heal, it is necessary to understand the scientific aspect of it. But you must understand the herb that corresponds with the disease that is manifesting. And the only way you could do that in the Western world, and to prove that you would be respected as someone that could be of usefulness, is to enhance oneself with the words that describe certain things. And that is the science of biochemistry. I had to, because my challenges would be from a scientific base. And if I didn't understand science, then I would be lost. And they would gain momentum when they should not. So I decided to go into the scientific understanding of these things we call herbs. And what we found, that there is nothing on the planet that assimilates and could be of usefulness, save that substance is electrical. And the only electric substance on the planet is a natural plant. not comfrey, golden seal, peppermint, aloe vera, and the rest. They're hybrids. But how many brothers and sisters in America or anywhere in the world qualifies to offer a challenge when we have nothing to test that which we are given for validity? No, I do not subscribe to melanin or to comfrey. So we have to again go back to the drawing board. The OSHA research disregard the word melanin. For instance, if melanin determined life, why is it then that when people come to us with nerve problems, with energy problems, we give them the substance known as iron, which is a mineral. Straining that iron with carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. The CHO chain is the chain of life. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Melanin has no place in that biochemical structure. So I'm very extremely sorry.
Okay, let me ask you a question then. What makes the difference between black and white then? Why is it your color and there's somebody else who's not of color?
Well, again, we could easily explain that position. Carbon is the determining factor for your color. The concentration of carbon determines the color black. The higher the concentration of carbon, the greater the color black would express. It is carbon, nothing else.
Excellent. Yes, sir. Dr. Sebi, explain to the people watching this tape the word electricity, and how it pertains to its necessity boundaries within the body structure.
Now you see, now that was the best question that could have been asked. Why? Because if something is of usefulness in my structure, in my biological structure, it must necessarily be electrical. And the only substance that is electrical, that are electrical, are those substances that come from the forest we call the jungle. Because the molecular structure is complete, it's not broken. If something is made by Mother Nature, one could easily use the common sense and see where this stuff is natural, is complete. But if something is made in a laboratory, well, naturally, common sense again shows us it could not be of usefulness. Each mineral on the planet, iron has 12,000 electrons per atom, calcium has 9,000, opium has the specific amount, and so it goes through the whole ramification of life. 142 minerals expresses themselves in a different way because that is necessary to maintain continuity, to maintain that individuality of each plant. The bones is calcium, not the blood. The blood is iron. Now we go back to the question of melanin. Wouldn't it be intelligent to ask one of the promoters of melanin, what is the electromagnetic structure of melanin? What is the amount of electrons per atom that represent this thing we call melanin? Why do we ask the question? Because it is necessary. We want to know, is this thing electrical? Yes. Well, if it is electrical, it has to have a definite amount of electrons per atom representing that particular thing.
Okay, let me ask you on that same subject. Let's say the generator that gives us electricity here in this city was cut off, and we wanted to get more electricity. What would we do? Would we stick one in the ground, or how would we work?
Stick one in the ground?
A wire.
No. What produces electricity?
Electrons.
No way. I was an electrician. I am an engineer. I work in what you call steam generating plants. I have a degree, I have a license, in what is known as thermodynamics. We are dealing with physics now. The only thing that produces electricity, the only thing that produces electricity is the friction of copper and carbon. That could be seen in your automobile. Take out your generator and see what it has inside. It has a copper wheel and some carbon brushes that touches against it when it turns. Here's an example. This is the copper wheel in the generating plant that produced the electricity in this room. It is spinning at only 90 revolutions per minute. But against this copper wheel, there are carbon brushes. And this is what you see. The spinning of the copper wheel against the carbon brush creates a friction. That friction is called resonance. Resonance is electricity, not electrons. Resonance. The resonance produces the electrons, not before. So now, if electricity is produced by copper and carbon, the friction of copper and carbon, then where do we go in the human body and find the organ that produces electricity? We find that it's the brain. The brain is the center of motor. The nervous system is the conduit that carries the electricity to various points of the body to cause motion. Now, should we ask, what is the composition of the brain? No. It is made up of what? Carbon and copper. The pineal gland is carbon, and the cerebral cortex, copper. We not only find it in human beings, we find it in the eel in Brazil that produces electricity to kill its prey. And when you open the eel, all you find is copper and carbon. No melanin.
Well, does everybody have a pineal gland? I was told the other day that everybody doesn't have one. Is that true or not?
If you have no pineal gland, you will not be alive. You will be in no motion. It's impossible. Every race has pineal glands. Not every race has thymus glands. Oh, that's different.
Oh, yeah. Well, tell us about those.
The thymus glands. The thymus gland regulates sex. It also maintains energy. The thymus gland also keep you childlike, non-aggressive. But in some races, the thymus gland disappeared at age 8. Then one becomes violent in one movement. But now, if the thymus gland disappeared in some races at age 8, principally the Caucasian, what helps one to retain the thymus gland within the biology? The presence of what? Carbon. Thank you.
Here's a question.
Right. So Dr. Sebi, what you're saying is that due to the way a lot of medical people study medicine in this country and around the world, they don't understand the difference between, say, electricity and something that's electric.
Well, if we are talking about understanding, what do they understand? Because the question needs to be asked. Remember, the time for common sense has arrived. What do they understand? Don't be afraid. We need to ask these questions. What do they understand? No cure for common cold, no cure for diabetes, no cure for cancer, leukemia, sickle cell anemia, AIDS, blindness, diabetes, and no other disease. Well, if the physician clearly shows us that there is no cure for any disease, what do they understand? So we have to throw that understanding of whatever that premise is out the window. Everything that have ever come from the Caucasian, no, from the physician, has to be thrown in the trash because it's of no consequence. What have they done as far as usefulness in reference to pathology? What have they done? What have they reversed? Nothing. So why should a word be authority? No, we can't use them as some level of thinking, development, or seeing. No, we can't do that because they don't have that. They showed us. How old is the medicine that they are practicing today? It is 265 years old. It started with Bombastus von Homenheim, only because he was prejudiced when he found out that Hippocrates went to Africa to launch his craft. And the fact of the matter is that Mr. Hippocrates, 2,000 years ago, used herbs to cure every disease known to man. If Mr. Hippocrates